Captain Paul for the Locker Room here, and this is a different format. I'm going to try something different. If you guys like it, great. If you don't like it, I won't do it again, but I felt like changing it up. There's a lot of videos I have in the pipeline and thought, hey, a buddy of mine sent this video to me. I think I've seen it before, but I felt like because the postseason is just around the corner, it'd be an interesting conversation to have and to watch this video and see how PK Subban did with Stephen A. Smith. I have a massive announcement for the channel, so I'll do that at the end of the video. I want to get into the meat and potatoes. What is the toughest postseason in sports? Let's go.
We're not doing the Cowboys Day, but I do want to ask you this because I know you're a huge sports fan. Do you think NHL playoffs, that's the best postseason in sports?
All right, PK, let me cook here. Yeah, by far, it's the best postseason. 7-game series, guys getting dinged up. You just don't see the amount of, I would say, sportsmanship, yet hatred in any other sports. It's a lot of fun to watch. The true battles of even 8 seeds versus 1 seeds, or, well, I mean, now it's 1 seed versus a wild card. They can really scrap and make them 5, 6 game, 7 series because there's so much intensity and there's such a, I would say, emphasis on the team aspect of the sport. I don't think the MLB compares. I don't think the NFL compares. While the Super Bowl is great, don't get me wrong, to win a championship in the NFL is a team sport, but you could just have a very good quarterback, some decent receivers, and a mediocre defense and still win. Whereas in hockey, you need your third and fourth liners to be good to very good. You cannot have a dead weight on your roster. The only situation I could think off the top of my head where even a bad goalie was carried was Antti from the Chicago Blackhawks and Antti from the Chicago Blackhawks. But outside of that, I mean, you really need to have competent NHL roster players. You can't have a weak spot. So let's go. Barely editing this at all.
I think it's extremely tough.
You
to
get
win
to
the
see
Stanley
all
Cup.
the flubs.
You're talking about 4 series, 7-game series, and you know, to break it down in the easiest way, hockey is like football on ice. I mean, this is a physical sport. People don't understand how tough a 7-game series is. I really believe, Stephen A., come on, man. Listen to me. 7 games, hockey, the physicality. I don't know if you've been watching the playoffs.
No, I'm saying
shots,
we know it. I'm saying we appreciate the toughness. My point is we do appreciate the toughness of hockey.
I mean, that's good. I'm glad Stephen A. can kind of acknowledge there is a lot of grit, toughness, and passion that goes into this sport. You know, that's why we're massive fans of it.
We understand that it's a tough sport to win it.
So you're telling me it's not the toughest trophy to win?
PK ain't listening.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean,
I think it's the toughest. I think it's the toughest trophy to win in all of sports.
I agree.
I think it's the toughest.
Enough for me.
Hold
I can't
on.
even comprehend
Football on
but the
ice.
point
Let
is,
me break it down easy for you, Stephen A. Football on ice. You got 82 games. We play the same amount of games as the NBA. Okay, when you consider the fact
skating, you ain't
that it's
running.
contact.
Oh no. Skating is physically demanding. I've heard that argument. That's why I kind of want to pause there. I've heard people say, "Oh, well, they're not running; they're just skating." Well, it's completely different muscle groups. Funny enough, right? If you're new to the channel, I got hurt at work on the tugboat, and essentially steel into my hip. I got a fractured hip and a torn labrum. Now, when they went in to do what they had to do, they found out that my ball socket, like where you're on your hip, it was more oblong. Now, they found that admittedly out, actually x-rays, I apologize. And the reason for that is because of the motion of skating. It actually wears down on your ball socket right there. Now, it doesn't happen with every single hockey player, but the guy I've had my procedure done by, he actually did a few Bruins players' procedures in the past, and he just kind of explained due to the motion, it kind of wears down on your body. Now, it's nothing crazily unnatural, but it was just kind of interesting to me. So there is a toll to skate, and I can only appreciate these guys. Like, I've been skating since I was 2 years old, and, you know, it's the way these guys, like even the quote-unquote bad skaters in the NHL, can really maneuver, their agility, their stop and go. It's just impressive.
Okay, contact, and there's no
you know how
out
to
of bounds.
skate, you're good.
Stephen A. in hockey, there's no out of bounds like football.
I'm sorry, I apologize. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. Now, when I was a young, spry lad with 40 less pounds and could actually walk, which I'm excited for in a few months. But yeah, you can skate, but doesn't mean you're going to make the highest level. And I know he's probably playing around a bit with that, but there's a large amount of difficulty. If that was the case, every single person probably watching this video would be in the NHL. Was I a pretty good hockey player? Yeah, I played very good at the high school level and a little bit of selects in college, but was I an NHL level talent? No. Those guys at the NHL level, even the AHL level, are phenomenal at what they do. So I don't know, just the whole like,
you can run out of bounds in football.
Stop.
In hockey, there's no out of bounds, okay? Right? So what I'm saying, 82 games plus travel, practice. Then you got the playoffs. You got 7-game series, okay? This is a physical, demanding sport. Commitment to blocking shots, 100-mile-an-hour slap shots, guys laying down, right? Guys losing teeth, right? Playing with broken bones. Like, this is the ultimate trophy to win, right? And it goes way back.
Wait a minute.
I mean, that's true. Like, player sticks out to me, Patrice Bergeron. Broken ribs, punctured lung, absolute warrior. 2011 Cup run, Gregory Campbell, he had slap shot in the leg, broke, and I think he blocked like 2 more shots after that before getting off the ice. Hockey players are warriors, and they will battle and do, honestly, some pretty insane shit to win in the postseason. That's why it's just such a fun sport to watch, because there is no love lost during those series.
I mean, you can't just make the argument and don't give a chance to respond.
All right, go ahead.
You're trying to be. You got to give other people a chance to chime in here.
Go ahead.
The point is this: first of all, skating's a bit different than running. Now that's a skill. Skating in and of itself is a skill.
No,
because
absolutely.
I'll be damned if I know how to ice skate. I mean, I'm shocked that you do. To be quite honest.
Yo. Oh fuck! I wish I had my co-host on here now. Oh, that sucks. That's a savage joke. That's a savage joke. I will say this. It is nice to see more people fall in love with the game. We need to find a way to make the equipment cheaper, though. Because of the price of playing this sport, I don't know what you could do. I'm not a manufacturing wizard here. But it does keep a lot of people out of the, I would say, income bracket to play it. Now, some leagues, like I've coached in, will actually have equipment pools where we can kind of give it to the younger kids, like once they outgrow their pads, and there's those programs. But if hockey wants to truly grow, we got to find ways to make it just a little bit more affordable.
I'm seeing you, okay? All right? Because I don't see the
Such a
brothers
savage
ice skating. I just don't see that, yo. I just don't see that very often. All right? That's number one. Number two, I would tell you this. Okay, I can't refute what you're saying. You play the damn sport. You're a professional athlete. You know what the hell you're talking about. I'm not going to refute that. What I will say to you, however, is this. When you talk about hockey, and listen, 7-0 is an absolute annihilation. It's a blowout. 3-1, 2-1, stuff like that. That ain't the kind of thing that turn folks on. And so when you talk about ice skate, hockey being on the same level as football, okay, I won't refute what you're talking about in terms of its toughness, in terms of its attractiveness. That's an entirely different matter altogether.
Okay. This is one thing I'll actually slightly agree on, and probably for 2 reasons. One reason he probably not even what he meant to say, but 1, the camera angles have gotten better, but late 90s, early 2000s, they weren't the best. So you would have times where the puck would be lost and the camera would be trying to chase it and find it. Now there's been a lot more technology innovation, so it just makes the game far more enjoyable to watch. But at times it can be a difficult sport to get into if you're a first-time watcher and you've never played the game. There's some rules, and there's just the way to watch the game compared to like a football where it's big, basketball, same thing. It's just, it is a little bit more difficult to follow in that aspect. They've tried the whole puck sensor things, but players didn't like it because it made the puck feel off and the bounce of it was all over the place. So they've tried some innovative things. But the second point that he probably didn't even mean to make here, but I'll go with it. The marketing from the NHL has always really suffered. It's just not been great at marketing itself and marketing its stars. Now, we've had Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin for a long time at this point. While they would have commercials from time to time, I feel like they didn't utilize them enough in the media. And while some of it could have been due to their really, really poor TV contract that they would sign, I feel like they've missed opportunities. Now, it seems like they're getting a little bit better with the Connor McDavids of the world. I mean, even Brad Marchand, he's just wildly entertaining. While some people might hate him, just his personality really does shine through. And I'll add a third thing here, the media coverage. Media coverage is far better now. Paul Bissonnette from the Spittin' Chicklets with the Ryan Whitney and the boys, having him on TNT was one of the smartest things they ever did. He adds a little bit of a flair. That's what hockey media was missing for a while. While there were solid announcers, it didn't really have great, I would say, personality to it. And yeah, I feel like that's what TNT's really brought forth and made completely different. That's the greatest thing, at least in my opinion.
Me personally, I would say that. But I must admit, the few hockey games that I've watched, I've enjoyed it. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I do like to see the fighting. I don't like the fact that hockey players got away for years with fighting more so than athletes in other professional sports. That bothered me. I feel you're gonna let them all do it. Let them all do it.
Hockey had a little bit more of a culture around fighting, though. That's the only pushback I'd have. But I kind of agree. If you're going to win one
Don't
fight,
just sit up there
let them
and
all go at
restrict
it, boy.
in one sport,
Boom.
but you allow it in another.
Imagine a
Nevertheless,
golf match where
I
they're
do
just
respect the
slugging each other in the
toughness,
face.
Without
Hockey
question,
analysis
hockey
today.
players are tough as hell. It's definitely a
Yeah.
tough sport. Y'all get my props just for knowing how to skate. I'm
Molly,
just being honest.
do I have
I'm
your permission
flagrantly
to answer
ignorant
that?
when it comes
She
to
looks
hockey.
a
quick
little bit
second.
lost here.
I'm flagrantly ignorant when it comes
Stephen
to
A.,
hockey. I'm not even denying it.
as a sports fan, if there's any real sports fans out there that believe in team sports, hockey is the ultimate team sport.
Okay.
You cannot win a championship with one player, two players, three, or even 5 or 10. You need a 22-man roster to win a championship in hockey. Now, that being said, I can't take anything away from the NBA, where you can have 1 or 2 superstars on a team and be competitive to win. That's why I'm a fan of the Golden State Warriors, because I think that that's the true testament to team in basketball. The way they play the game, it's fun to watch. That's why I love watching
Glad you
Golden
admitted
State.
that.
No, I'm serious. That's
Because
why I
I see
love
you at
watching
basketball
Golden
games.
State.
I don't see you nowhere
All right,
else,
guys,
but I
this
see
was
you
a
at
lot of
basketball
fun.
games.
I'm sorry to cut you off, PK. This was great. Really, Stephen A. I mean,
Okay, so I feel like this was a good, it was a pretty interesting conversation. I think when it kind of comes down to it, at least for me, hockey has to take the cake because of the way in which the sport is played and the difficulty of it, and yeah, just the pure physicality aspect. And there's just so much talent now. Will it ever be? And wow, this is a really blown out lights. Jesus. Will it ever? And this is all staying in, so I apologize. This isn't going to be like my usual edited videos because I'm kind of feeling out of it today. So I'm just going to get this up. When it comes down to me, hockey's got to do a better way in marketing itself. I think it's definitely improved this last season. I like the TNT contract. I like some of the aspects of the ESPN. I just wish they had a better streaming service where I could watch the game in one service with no blackouts, but that's a whole different conversation. But I feel out of all the sports, it's the most difficult one to play in. And while I'm biased, sure. But I'm a fan of all these sports. Now, getting into all these sports, this is kind of a big announcement that I have for the channel. I am going to start posting other sports on this channel. Now, relax. Nothing's going to change from the hockey side of thing. I'm actually currently working on a Atlanta Thrashers. Oh, gee, Atlanta Thrashers. This is just going to annoy me, so can't take that much off. Or that was kind of driving me crazy watching that. The Atlanta Thrashers video I'm working on. I've been working on a script. I got a lot of it down. Very, 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 very peculiar situation with Atlanta and how that. I'm not going to ruin the video, but just the transfer of the ownership and how things went down is just. It wasn't as clear cut as I initially thought. So I'm making a video on that. Currently working on a top 64 draft. Pick selection. I'm going to mock draft the first 2 rounds. I'm going to wait till the lottery happens so I have a definite of who's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and go down the board and pick who's going where. And I think that'd be kind of fun. It's going to be a long video. I might break it up into segments of like these 5 picks and these 5 picks, or I might just release it as a whole hour-long video. I'm not sure. But so nothing is changing on the hockey side of things. If anything, I'm going to be creating more content, but there's other sports I want to talk about. If you've seen the channel, you look at the back catalog, I did talk about football. My co-host Fajardo would talk about, the Premier League, and we kind of want to kick that back up. I want to be a destination for all sports. Hockey will always be the passion of this channel, though. By none. It's my favorite sport, and I have so many amazing memories with the sport kind of growing up. Me and my father, that's how we bonded. So this is always going to be the heart and the soul of the channel. There's always going to be hockey content pretty much daily. The only time where that might struggle a little bit is during the off season, but I already have some plans for that. But I want to have the ability to cover more sports. So if you see the occasional football video, the occasional soccer video, occasional MLB video, do not worry. The hockey stuff isn't going away. There's just going to be a little bit more diverse content on the channel. And I want to end up this video with a couple things. I want to thank you guys. You guys make this extremely fun for me. This has been a wildly fun project. It's fun to just watch a game, watch a replay of a game, then go to the highlights, kind of write notes, break down, and then just talk about stuff. It's a lot of fun. It really is. It's one of the most fun times I've had on YouTube. And I mean, on the other channel, I had a video that got over 250,000 views. This stuff I'm creating right here, I kind of enjoy more, if I'm being honest, because it's a sport that I have such a strong connection with because I played for it so long, and it kind of helped develop a lot of the bonds that I have to this day. And, with coaching and helping certain players reach heights, like minor league hockey, had a few players I coach actually go over play in La Liga. I mean, it's really fun, and I'm looking forward to keep bringing more shows. And talking about shows, so we have a Patreon on this channel. I know. I'm not trying to please give me your money. I'm not trying to do that, but I'll be very, very, very clear. I am very restricted with what I can give on YouTube. It's unfortunate because there's been a lot of videos that I've done around 10 to 15 minutes. I try to upload it. I try to stay within certain guidelines, and just a lot of the video gets claimed. And I understand TV rights and et cetera, but specific players and even specific teams, I wanted to go into a more in-depth breakdown. I'm not able to do it on YouTube. And I'm asking, if you want to see that type of content, please check out the Patreon. There's nothing currently up on the Patreon yet. But to be fair, I'm actually looking at this folder. I have over 20 videos on the docket. So I'm probably going to be starting to upload that in the next few days. But the Patreon just allows me a little bit more creative freedom and not really have to worry about YouTube guidelines to that ilk. I can just really talk about certain plays, certain players, certain teams, and certain systems that they do in a far more in-depth way that I feel is fun. I'll probably try to bring that over to YouTube again. I just got to find a better way of doing it because I kept getting claimed, and I'll admit, from a content creator side, it was driving me up the wall because I'd work a few hours on certain videos and just the whole thing is copyright claim. So, but again, you guys have been fantastic. Even if you can't give back the Patreon, liking, commenting, subscribing, that all helps. The growth has just been insane in the past couple months. And without you guys, I probably lose motivation to do this pretty fast. And it's not because I don't enjoy doing it, but I would have to say it's very difficult spending hours and hours on end on making content, and nobody checks it out. That's one of the struggles I had early on with this channel. So it just gets me more motivated every single day with the amount of support I'm getting. That's one of the longest videos I'm going to release on this channel. It seems like it's going to be around 20 minutes. Again, thank you guys so much. Check out the channel if you haven't already. I'm Captain Paul. See you in the next video. And I'm keeping in all the mess ups so you guys can laugh at my pronunciation.